All right, guys. One of the great things that I love about ChuckTown Homes is the ability to earn leadership opportunities. And I'm really excited to talk with Tekia Johnson, who is our Atlanta team leader. Tekia, thanks so much for hanging out with me today.
Thank you for having me.
So, Tekia, let's start it off with a joke. You have been jokingly nicknamed the Brandon Whisperer. Why?
You need someone to take it down a notch. You need that person, that sound mind.
Yeah.
I think I'm that. And that comic relief.
Tekia, you also know my Starbucks order.
Yes.
Yeah, my wife doesn't.
Well, it's pretty plain. You're just like a basic person. It's just a white chocolate mocha. It's not that hard. So.
Yeah. So, Tekia, talk to us a little bit about ChuckTown Homes. So, you and I met each other 4 or 5 years ago in the Market Center. What were you doing in the Market Center? What was your experience before ChuckTown?
I was just throwing mud at a wall, like just trying to see what sticks, spinning my wheels as a solo agent. I had recently got out of the military and was just trying to figure it out, like what's next. And I was trying everything and nothing was connecting.
Yeah. What kind of things were you doing as a solo agent? Just trying to generate business. What were some of your daily activities?
I was door knocking, calling, paying for leads. I was paying for Zillow leads at the time. I thought I was marketing myself good, social media, paying for campaign, click ads on Facebook, just doing everything I could.
Sounds like you were crushing it.
It was crushing me.
So all those activities and about what was the time frame? What was the time span from joining real estate to doing all those activities? What was that?
I spent about 8 months doing that.
And what kind of success did you see in those 8 months?
I had one closing in those 8 months.
So that sounds like you probably spent a few $1,000s anyways.
I spent $10,000 doing that.
Wow.
So my husband was looking at me sideways by that. And I think with that first closing, I made about $11,000. So
You're ROI positive.
I was $1,000 positive, and I think at that moment when I walked out of that closing, I felt like I was pretending. I had taken the picture, I had the briefcase with my name stitched on it, I had the sign, the big little key, like, hey, I made it. And I just felt empty when I went home. I felt like I was pretending to be a real estate agent.
Yeah. So, and then, I was hanging out in the Market Center. I had the opportunity to lead the Greenville team. What kind of attracted you to looking at the ChuckTown Homes Greenville team?
I realized I needed help, so I started sitting down with teams. I went to a mastermind that was, a few people talking on a panel about the difference between solo agency and being on a team. And I mean, obviously, ChuckTown Homes was attractive just from the platform, but you said the words "teams are for suckers," and I was like, "Wait, what?" But that's what I had been feeling internally. Then you went on to explain that that's what you felt prior to coming to a team, not knowing what a team had to offer, and I was feeling those things. I thought I could make it without a team. I didn't need any support. I had everything that it took to be successful. But to hear someone who had been successful as a solo agent and found even more success on a team, I was like, man, let me sit down and really talk to them and see what's going on. My Market Center did speed dating event, and I was like, you know what, let me go. That's going to be my chance to sit down and talk to them. So I had questions lined up specifically for ChuckTown. So when I went through the first, 5 minutes of the other 2 people that I sat with, I sat down and I was like, hey, I got these questions specifically about you guys. And all of my questions were answered. I believe you guys were like trainings Monday, it was a Friday, and I said, I gotta make this leap. And I haven't looked back since.
Yep. So you start training that Monday. You go through our week of initial training. When did you take your first lead?
I took my first lead. So that's back when, it was like, hey, here you go. So finished on Thursday. I took my first lead that Friday. I showed my first property on Saturday, and I was under contract on Sunday.
That's crazy.
And that just blew my mind. I had my first closing in 27 days. It was right before Christmas, and I just felt like, okay, this is really what I need to be successful. And it was just
And you really plugged into the system, right? You bought a second phone. You were in your car all the time. Like, why were you so motivated to be successful in our system?
You talked about being hungry, humble, and kind. I feel like I had all of those things, but I was figuratively and literally hungry. Like I had gone 8 months with one closing, and I was right at that turning point that I said, hey, maybe I should find a job. Maybe I should go back to banking. Maybe I need to do something else. So I was at that turning point. I was hungry. Like I was like, I'm going to go all in with this. And if it doesn't work, it's not going to be because I did not try.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. And I know you know where I'm going with this. You were successful with us for what, 8 months, 9 months?
10 months.
10 months, sorry. And then what'd you do to me?
I left, it was a breakup, but we got back together. And it's been great ever since,
So talk a little bit about that. You saw the success in ChuckTown Homes and you said, hey, maybe I want to go try this one more time on my own. What was your thought process there?
Well, I always believed in myself and thought, hey, I have what it takes to really be successful. And I felt like I had been given the blueprint. Like, hey, this is what you do. This is how you run your systems. And I did all of those things. I had Follow-Up Boss. I had Real Scout at the time. Everything that we were using on ChuckTown Homes, I did. I thought that I knew the sauce and I could go out and recreate everything. And I was good for a while before I realized I lined up my P&L at the end of that year because it was December. So I was looking and seeing, okay, how much had I done? I had done 7 closings in that 6 months that I was gone. And I did almost 20 something, in the time that I was there. And I was like, okay, I made more money on the team. Yeah. So it just made more sense. And then I missed the team too. I found myself trying to invite myself to lunches like, hey, y'all are going to lunch. I'm on Facebook liking every post. I just missed that camaraderie. And, I was like, hey, let me see if they want me back. Let's see if they missed me like I missed them. Yeah. It was the best decision ever to come back.
Yeah. Those free lunches are pretty motivating for you.
Yeah, I was hungry. I was hungry again. Getting free lunches was not the same. No one was taking me out to lunch.
So you joined the team back, and how long are you an agent again?
I was an agent again for maybe 6 or 7 months. Before I started really seeing a turning point in the growth. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, I want to be a part of whatever they got going on. I'm going to shoot my shot every single time because I can see where it's going. And I remember dreaming at night and seeing like the vision, whatever was laid out, I believed in it. And I emailed Jeremy applying for jobs that I had no clue what they were. I think they were hiring for a transaction coordinator. And I was like, oh, let me apply for that. I had no idea like what to do. I just wanted to be a part of the growth, whatever was going on. I was like, I got to get in. I really want an opportunity to really grow with this company.
Yeah. Yeah. You kept raising your hand, right? And Jeremy and Donald, the owners of our company, we were sitting in the Greenville office, which is a literal garage. And we were just sitting there talking about the growth of ChuckTown Homes. And in a 15-minute window, we came up with the position of what we now call the head of agent services, which basically is the face of ChuckTown Homes, the recruiter to attract new agents to our team. And we all just sat there for literal 15 minutes. And we said, who is that person in our company that could do that for us well? And we unanimously said Tekia, like all at the same time.
Did you guys say it like low or was it loud?
No, we whispered it real
Okay.
softly.
All
So,
right.
because if we said it loud enough, you'd be coming asking for lunch, right? Like Beetlejuice, Tekia to Tekia, Tekia, and boom, we're going to Taco Bell or something. Anyways, we came up with that position in a 15-minute window and just reached out to you and said, hey, would you be interested? And what'd you say?
I said yes. I don't think I even let you guys finish or tell me what the job was. I was just like, yeah, it could have been, I told Jeremy one time, it could have been the corporate janitor. And I had already said yes. And I was that committed to whatever it was. I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So you start thriving in that position, right? You're recruiting a bunch of agents. Tell us what your favorite thing to do to recruit an agent is. What's your number one lead source?
Probably TikTok and Instagram were my favorite recruiting methods to get agents. Hashtag RealtorBay
Yep.
is how I found a lot of great agents.
Yeah. So you do that well, and then we go to Jacksonville, right? And we talk about expanding into that market because we had a great opportunity with Zillow Flex and some great OPs down there, Keller Williams operators. And you applied to be the Keller Williams or the ChuckTown Homes team leader down in Jacksonville. Why'd you raise your hand for that position?
Like I said, I saw myself in that leadership role. I didn't know if you guys saw me in that leadership role. So I said, I have to start making that be known that I'm serious about this. I want to be a part of it. Even if I have no chance, like I'm going to just raise my hand and continue to raise my hand. Because eventually they can't ignore that, right? Eventually they're going to see and say, okay, she's serious. You know, there were a few jokes and laughs in between, but she's serious about this. So I was like, hey, I'm going to raise my hand.
Yep. So did you get that spot?
I did not.
All right. How'd you feel when you didn't get it?
I was sad about it, you know, because I felt like I had a great opportunity to get it. But I knew internally that it wasn't mine. You know, I felt like I felt it in my heart it wasn't for me, but I had to make it be known that I was serious about it. So it didn't deter me. I was like, I'm going to keep raising my hand. Like, they're going to get sick of me eventually and just say, here's a job, you know?
Yeah, I remember asking you about that, and you said, Brandon, what's for me is for me. And that just wasn't for me.
Always. Yeah. I think I am religious in the aspect of I know what God has for me. And like I said, I knew that it wasn't mine, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop letting that be known that I'm interested.
Yeah, love it. So you keep, I mean, you basically go on the road with me,
Yeah,
right?
we went on tour.
Yeah, we went on the ChuckTown Homes tour, right? I think we went to like 7 or 8 market centers in a 45-day, 50-day window where I'm teaching my internet lead class, which you also used as a recruiting tool to attract agents to what we do every single day at ChuckTown Homes. And, you know, people kind of look at us like Narnia, like who are these guys off and, you know, what are they doing and how are they doing it, right? And we just kind of share that with everybody. So a few more months goes by and we have an awesome opportunity to go down to Atlanta, Georgia. You applied for that.
Yep.
Yeah. Raise your hand again.
Fine. I was like, this is me. This is it. I remember when we went to the market center and I saw how nice it was. I was like, oh, this is Tekia. Like, this is luxury. This is me. So I was like, I'm going to raise my hand again. But I raised it with confidence that time. I knew it was mine.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we had 7 people apply for the Atlanta position. Why did you feel so confident that Atlanta was going to be yours? And you know, spoiler alert, you are the team leader of Atlanta, right? Why did you feel so confident in Atlanta and that opportunity?
I thought Atlanta was larger than life. As far as the market centers that we were in, I was like, this is a total different ball game. This is something that is going to take a larger than life personality. Yeah. And I was like, that's me. Like, I can do this. I really can do this. And I remember talking to my husband, and he was like, it's yours. Like, that's you. And it's been the best decision ever.
So here's what just absolutely amazes me about the leaders that we have in position, right? You put your house on the market. You pulled your kid out of school. Your husband moved with you to a place that you guys have never lived before after being established. Like, you have family and friends here in Greenville, South Carolina, and you said, hey, I just believe in this opportunity that much. What's like the top thing that gave you that vote of confidence that you're in business with the right people, that you're willing to do all those things, move your family 2-3 hours away to a place you've never been for? Like, what was that thing?
When I spoke with Jeremy and Donald and you know, in the interview, I saw the confidence that y'all had in me. And I was like, okay, if they believe that I can do this, I can do it. You know, I know that I'm not making the wrong decision. There was some fear about putting my home on the market and uprooting my family because we were comfortable in Greenville. I think we had established a great life. But when I saw that confidence, I was like, okay, I can do it. It was enough to make me move a mountain.
Yeah. Yeah. So coming from the Greenville team, which that team's a pretty tight-knit team, to going to the Atlanta team, what were the things that you wanted to be sure that you implemented with your team that you really loved?
The culture and the doing life together. I know that when we did interviews, you would always say, we do life together. And I would be back there shaking my head like, yep, because we really did. We really did, know each other's children, know each other's spouses, hang out together. And I was like, I want to implement that culture there, because if we're having a great time and we're finding success in it, then there'll be no stopping us. So I was like, I want everything we have. This is the blueprint. Let me go and try to replicate this and do the same thing.
Tekia, why leadership? Why not just be an agent? You are making great money, right? Why not just keep doing that? Why leadership?
It's just in me. Yeah, I was making great money. I mean, if you want to pay me what I was making as an agent, I'll take it any day. Less stress, but I felt like I had so much to give to people. Even when we would have team meetings in Greenville, I would always have an interjection, always have a but, always have a say-so. And I just felt like I had so much to give that I couldn't just stop at being an agent. I couldn't just, be number two. I had to be a leader, and I had to show the agents what I saw in the company. I had to show them that passion and help them be successful and achieve the things that I had achieved.
All right. Is it more stressful or less stressful than being an agent?
It's more stressful for sure. Like I have gray hairs popping up here. Like, oh my goodness, I can't identify as 28 anymore. It's definitely more stressful, but it's worth it.
Yeah. Tekia, if you could go back in time, right, from day one of joining ChuckTown Homes and say to yourself, leadership is for me, this is the path that I want to take, what advice would you give yourself in that?
I would I would reassure myself. I don't think anything that I did was by mistake. I think everything had to happen the exact way that it happened. So I would let all of that play out, but I would just reassure myself that I'm making the right decision, that it's okay. It's okay to fail. It's okay to stand up for yourself. It's okay to speak up for yourself. I would do it all the same, but just have that reassurance.
Yeah. We have, as leaders at ChuckTown Homes, we follow the three core principles of servant leadership, extreme ownership, and leading by example, right? We make those decisions on everything we do. Every decision we make is with those things in mind. And we're an agent-first company, right? Like Jeremy always jokes around and says, I'm not in the real estate business. I'm in the agent services business. So talk to us a little bit about that. How do those core values impact the daily decisions that you make every single day?
Every decision I make is for my agents. Like when I go to bed at night, I think about them. They're the first things on my mind. How do I make their business grow? How do I provide for their families? And I know ultimately that's not my job to provide for their families, but I want this so bad for them, and I want them to all be okay. Like I get ingrained. I feel like I know every single one of their business. I'm a little nosy, so I know all of their business, their family, their husbands. I want them to be successful, and I want them to have the same thing that I have, So I just put them first in every decision that I make.
It's almost like an obsession. Like I obsess over thinking about my agents' money and making sure that they're providing for their families and that they're winning. And when I just put them first, right, that servant leadership, it just also ends up that I win too. So when my agents are winning, I'm winning. When you guys as team leaders are winning, I'm winning. When I'm winning, my owners are winning. That's what makes this great. It's just a symbiotic relationship to where when you win, I win. When I win, my owners win, and we're all winning.
Exactly. And I like to win, so I want them to win, right? I want them to be the best.
Yeah. Tekia, what is the most challenging thing about leadership at ChuckTown Homes?
Is making a decision and standing on it. Sometimes my bleeding heart will say, oh man, is this right? Or should I do this? But knowing that I'm doing this for a reason and having those standards and not wavering from them is probably the hardest thing.
So this might be shown to some of our new agents joining our team, right? And they have a partner in team leaders like you and all of our other locations, right? We have a team leader in every single location doing almost the same things that you're doing in Atlanta every single day. And one of the big pieces of your job is accountability, holding the agents accountable to the goals and the tasks that they professionally committed to doing. Talk to us about how you implement accountability every single day and how that kind of makes you feel.
It doesn't make me feel great, because I know that with accountability, there's a little discomfort there.
Yeah.
It's tough conversations, it's being stern. So that doesn't make me feel great because I want us to have a great time all the time. But I do know in order for us to be successful and achieve the level of success that we're after, there has to be some accountability. There has to be some accountability with myself. I have to hold myself accountable to hold them accountable. So, my daily activities, I do a daily audit, and that's looking at their previous day, previous week, all of their conversations, and just being really ingrained in what's going on and providing them that real-time feedback and how to get better, that coaching, that consistent hand-holding, whether they want to hold my hand or not.
And how does that benefit the agent, though? So you're in there, you're looking at their leads, you're listening to their conversations, you're coaching them. How does that benefit the agent?
It makes them more profitable. It makes them grow. It makes them learn. All agents are not going to be with me forever. I know that. I was one of those agents, right? But while they're here, I want them to be able to grow as an agent and take the things that they've learned and be able to just really successfully be with their clients and take care of them. So profitability in the end, that's what they're after. That's what they should be after.
Tekia, so you're building an incredible team in Atlanta. You guys are already doing something amazing down there. You're one of the top teams in your market center. Are you guys actively hiring agents?
We're always hiring new agents. I am always looking for opportunities, new experienced agents. I see us going to the moon. So I know that is going to take a large team to do so. So I'm always hiring.
What are the three characteristics you're looking for in an agent joining ChuckTown Homes Atlanta?
Hungry, humble, and kind.
Tell us what those mean.
I need them to be hungry and be ready to get after it. A lot of our leads are right now. So I need people that are ready, willing, and able to be able to show property same day and really get after it. Kind, I want them to take care of the clients. Like, that's above all. That's literally why we're all here. So they have to be able to take care of the clients. And then humble, I want them to have that humbleness to say, I'm happy to be here. Yeah. I'm happy to serve.
Yeah. So humble, hungry, kind, that's our framework. I love that. But Tekia, why would either a new or an experienced agent want to join ChuckTown Homes?
It provides consistency to your business. People for experienced agents that may have had a stagnant business, they're not able to find their growth opportunities. I think it really provides a lot to their database, and they have something to give us as well from their experience. For new agents that just don't have a spear at all and they're just kind of spinning their wheels, it'll really provide some rocket fuel to their business and get their pipeline flowing.
Tekia, I'm a brand new agent. I'm coming to the Atlanta team or any of our teams. What are like the top three things that I should be doing as a new agent to be successful in our system?
Being consistent in your conversations is top one. Conversations equals contracts. I tell my agents all the time that's the only math I know. So being consistent in those conversations, really just diving in, not being afraid, and actually following up, with the people. That's you have to actually follow up. You have to be committed to, if you take on a client, you have to be committed to seeing them through the process.
Yeah, I love that. So Tekia, what do you think, last question, what do you think the biggest mistake a new agent makes in real estate? Whether they join ChuckTown or not, what's the biggest mistake that they're making?
The lack of effort, getting discouraged. This business is very tough. And I see agents just give up so easily. They get one objection and it's just like, oh, this isn't going to work. So I think having that negative mindset can really just impact your business. Like, you have to work on, speak positivity, speak life into yourself. And if you're not doing that, it really just can just demolish your career, you know.
All right, I lied, so I got one more for
Okay.
you. Tekia, if you weren't doing the team leader position at ChuckTown Homes and you weren't in real estate, what would you be doing?
I would be a stay-at-home wife. You know, I was rich in my past life, and I can see myself at a pool, you know, getting steak served to me. Yeah, I would be doing that.
Tekia, I'm so grateful for you. I'm grateful for how you show up every day, not only for Chucktown Homes, but for your agents and your family. I'm grateful that you're the Brandon Whisperer. I need that in my life.
You do.
Thank you for mellowing me out and keeping me honest. And it is just such a privilege to be in business with somebody like you. And I love seeing what you're doing in Atlanta. So what I would say to you, if you're an agent watching this and you're thinking about joining Chucktown Homes, is we have 7 Tekias in 7 locations, 4 states, where they serve every day 165 amazing agents. And if you want a true partner in your business, look no further than somebody like Tekia. Tekia, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You have one Tekia in one location. That's Atlanta.